My name is Carrie Talbot. I am a Student Success Advisor and Curriculum Specialist here at ICAN. I am joined by my colleague Eric, who you will be seeing here in a little bit as he will be running the panelist discussion. I'm also joined by the Bureau of Iowa College Aid and ISL Education Lending, as well as we have during our panelist sessions, we have universities, admissions representatives, as well as students in that panelist discussion. Tonight, we will have that panelist discussion. We are going to go over just a few top items for the class of 2026, just some tips and pointers, and then we will get into that panelist portion of the evening. We do have the chat feature enabled, so please utilize that chat feature and start asking questions that you have of college students or admissions processes or anything about college planning in that chat box, and we will get those answered during that panelist portion of tonight's event. So to get started, in case you are not familiar, ICAN is a nonprofit here in Iowa, and our mission is to empower Iowans to find success in career, college, and life. We do that in multiple different avenues. One of them is you're here with us tonight by offering these webinars and events all about career and college planning to help equip today's students and families for better preparation for college and career. We have advising services all along that career planning process, from the first initial career exploration and planning all the way through the going stages of college, but through the FAFSA application, that pre-application for federal student aid, as well as scholarship applications and college applications. We do take advising appointments online. Virtually, you can have those appointments or in person in one of our offices. So you can visit our website at icansucceed.org/APT for an appointment. So we do have some services or some materials available to you all as senior parents for your use. These can all be found online on our website at icansucceed.org/materials. Some of these items that I will highlight, that is our whole resource library, materials library with multiple different resources. But I will highlight a few of those here. Those would be our Life After High School Career and College Planning Guide, all about that career college planning process, application process, scholarship process as well. Our How to Pay for College Guide is all about the money side, that financial aid side of college. The FAFSA application, that free application for federal student aid. We go into detail about that application, how to fill out application out, as well as other sources of aid. Another great resource for seniors is our Countdown to Future calendar. This is a month-by-month calendar of anywhere from about 4 to 5 items that students can be doing each month all along their journey on their career and college planning. Doing these items each month will ensure that they are ready to go for their career or college route after high school. We also have a Ready to File the FAFSA handout. This Ready to File guide is all about the items you need for the FAFSA. So taking this handout, going down those items, checking them off, putting them in a pile. If you have all of those items, you'll be ready to go and answer all questions that are needed when filling out the FAFSA. Again, these can be found on our website at icansucceed.org/materials. And there is a link in the chat for that. So now moving on specifically for seniors, kind of what do you need to be doing your senior year? Well, applying. Applying is very important for seniors. No matter what route you're taking after high school, whether that's a military route, apprenticeship, or college route, there are applications for you to complete. If you're going into the military, you'll need to complete your assessments for your physical and mental health. You'll need to complete your enlistment paperwork and applications and submit all required documents that are required for your MEPS and your basic training. If you are going into an apprenticeship, it is important to finish high school strong. You will have potentially the ability to do a pre-apprenticeship program while in high school or right after before you can get into that apprenticeship. So it's important to start talking with the apprenticeship program that you are going into. Some apprenticeship programs do have age requirements where you're not necessarily allowed to apply until the age of 18 or a little after. So you might not be able to apply for the actual apprenticeship program at this time, but you can start talking with and communicating with the apprenticeship program to see if there are any pre-apprenticeship programs that you could do with them. You will also need to have your high school diploma to apply. So it's important to make sure you have that when going through the application process. College, it's still important to finish high school strong. Those academics and involvement do matter. And I'm sure when we are on our panelists, we'll have our college and professionals as well as students saying how high school, even through that senior year, matters. It's important to apply to your colleges if you haven't already done so. Applications for colleges admissions are open. They opened up back this August, so even some just potentially in July. So it's important to fill out those college admissions applications. Doing that sooner rather than later will help to ensure that you've met some of those deadlines and getting on your way to hearing back from them. Then it's also important to apply for financial aid. That FAFSA, that free application for federal aid is coming up, but then there are also scholarship applications to be filling out as well throughout your senior year. When you are a senior going off to college, deadlines are your new best friend. There are deadlines for admissions applications, for scholarships, for housing, for financial aid. So it is important that you follow those deadlines and making sure you're submitting your paperwork that you need in a timely manner. I do want to highlight a specific portions of some of that college piece. I did mention applying early so you can hear back from those admissions decisions, but also the earlier you apply and hear back, you can start planning for housing, financial aid, and scholarships. Many colleges, you can't get access to that scholarship application until you're an actually admitted student when you try to fill out their scholarship application. So again, applying early will help with that. Applying early ensures that you meet your admissions deadline. If you are a student on this call or a parent, you might have students looking at early action or early decision admissions applications. Early action is where they apply early and get a decision earlier without committing. Early decisions, they're going to apply and get a decision earlier with a commitment to attend that college. Or there's regular decision where you're just going to hear from all your colleges on their regular timeline, and you can make that decision at any moment to submit those applications and then to commit to those schools. If you are applying to multiple colleges, there are two resources that you could potentially utilize to help with that bulk application process. The first one is that Common App, so commonapp.org. It houses thousands of different college applications on there. So if you are looking at applying to some of our schools in Iowa or out of the state, you can use Common App, and many colleges and universities have their applications right in Common App. Advantage is you go to Common App, you type in the colleges you want, you get to fill out one more or less application. You fill out that application, it then gets dispersed to those colleges that you've selected that you want to apply to. Not all colleges are housed on the Common App, but if they are, that's a great resource to have and utilize. If they are not, then you can still go to that individual college's website and apply right online at their college. There's also the Coalition for College Application for you to look at as well for some bulk applications. So real quick, parts of the application. And many applications, whether you are applying for the workforce, military, career, college, apprenticeship, many will have components of these parts of the application. So all applications are going to ask for that basic demographic information, name, birth date, social security, date of birth. Many of these applications, whether it's the military through college, will need your high school official transcript. So it is important that you remember to have your official high school transcript sent off. Even if you are taking a military and apprenticeship route, they will need it. Depending on which route you're going, you might have to take some entrance exams. Colleges may require you to take an ACT or an SAT or an ASVAB or a AccuPlace or ALEX. Military will require you to take the ASVAB. An apprenticeship might require you to take an entrance exam. So it's important to take those entrance exams. Some might have fees. Some might have interviews, personal statements that you have to write, activities, resumes, and letters of recommendation. So if you do have to go on to an interview or a personal statement, it's important to practice for these activities, whether it's an interview or a personal statement. write out that personal statement, reread it, have a teacher or parent read through it as well. Practice an interview, have somebody do a mock interview with you. For letters of recommendations, this is where you need to ask an educator or a coach or somebody in the community member to write you a letter of recommendation showing highlighting your skills, your abilities, your commitment, your leadership for whether it's for admissions, scholarships, any sort of recommendation. Having those and asking for those in advance is always advisable for you to do. So again, no matter which route you apply, you will probably see these parts of the application in any route after high school. After you applied, it's important to still continue to work hard in school. Grades will matter until graduation. Colleges, military, they will all look at those grades even through graduation. Those can have determining factors on some aspects of your post-secondary. So continue to work hard. Search for scholarships. Scholarships are an important part of being able to get some free money to help pay for college expenses. And so it's important to search and apply to as many scholarships as possible. You need to apply for financial aid as well, that FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, as well as the state aid application are available to apply for. Those are October 1, the FAFSA will come available. And then there's also that state aid application. And then once you have applied, you just have to wait from the college or any of those decisions to officially hear, determining if you're in or not. So that FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, I've mentioned it a few times. We file it your fall of your senior year is the first time you will file it. October 1, it will be available. You will then continue filling it out every fall or every academic year you're going to enroll in at post-secondary education. It's available online at studentaid.gov. That is the official website for the FAFSA. It is a government website. It is a federal application. It's all filled out online. There is Skip Logic to help with filling out the form faster as well. And it's usually processed in about 3 to 5 days. And that's when the colleges will get that FAFSA to start being able to look at and award aid. So exactly who needs an account for the FAFSA? Every person that's going to contribute to that FAFSA will probably need an account. The student who the FAFSA is for, the high school senior, most definitely needs that account. Then the parents will need an account. One or both parents may need that account. Only one parent will need that account if both parents are married to each other and they file joint tax returns in the year for this year, in the year 2024, the ones we just completed a few months ago. Also, only one parent will need them if this parent is single, they're never married, they're widowed, they're separated or divorced, and not remarried. In those situations, only one parent will need a FAFSA account, a studentaid.gov account. The student will always need the account, but in some situations, both parents are going to need an account. And those situations or those scenarios are both parents will need an account when both parents are married to each other, but they filed separate tax returns. Both parents are going to need a studentaid.gov if there's two parents who are unmarried but live together in the same household. So if both biological parents live together but unmarried, they will need both to have an account. Or if the parents that need to include the FAFSA form is currently remarried and filed a federal tax return separate from their current spouse. So many times that would be in a divorce situation where that biological parent was divorced, they are now remarried, but their new spouse, they filed separate tax returns for, maybe because they got married after filing taxes. If the student is married, the student's spouse might have to have an account as well. But for most on this call, we probably fall into those first situations since most are on this webinar are high school seniors. So I mentioned fall of your senior year is when you need to start filling it out come October 1. You then need to fill it out by your priority date for your schools. Priority dates is the recommended filing date to have the best chance at financial aid. If you are applying to multiple schools, you will use the earliest date. When you fill out the FAFSA, you can list up to 20 colleges on the FAFSA application. And so you will look through those colleges and see who has the earliest priority date. And you want to make sure that your FAFSA is submitted prior to that first college's priority date. And that will ensure that you've met all of them. So for example, I'm going to use the University of Iowa since they have the earliest priority date in the state of Iowa. So if I was looking at going to the University of Iowa and looking at maybe Simpson or another private college and a community college in the state of Iowa, University of Iowa's priority date is December 1. Simpson's other private colleges have a later priority date. Some of them are not until July. Community colleges also have later priority dates than that. Some not till March. So in that situation, I would need to fill out my FAFSA by December 1 because I would met University of Iowa's priority date as well as the other colleges that I'm applying to since I filed it by December 1. There are many FAFSA Ready Iowa events that ICAN host as well as communities host for helping families complete the FAFSA. So definitely check with your school counselors to see if there is a school-based event. Otherwise, check to see if there's community-based events. You can look this up right online at icansucceed.org/FAFSA Ready Iowa. We do host monthly step-by-step Wednesday webinars on the FAFSA application process is starting in the month of October. So we do host those once a month on one of our Wednesday webinars. You can find that on our website as well. So real quick, what is financial aid? Just in case everybody is on the same page. Financial aid is gift aid, which is free money that doesn't have to be paid back. And it is also self-help aid, which is money that may have to be paid back or worked for. So paid back money are those loans, and then you could potentially partake in work study or employment. On our website at icansucceed.org/scholarships, we provide resources and sources for scholarships. We have a database that will be on there as well for students to search for scholarships. It's important to also look at private sources. All high school counselors will have access to local scholarships. They will be able to inform you as parents and students to have the local scholarships, the application process for those. Employers is another great spot to look for scholarships. Sometimes parents or even the students' employers will have scholarships available to their employees or their employees' children to help pay for the cost of college. Any organization that you or the students are a part of also might have scholarship money. For example, if you're part of Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, they might have some money available or scholarship applications to complete. Looking at local businesses, your utilities, your resources. Are you an Alliant Energy customer or MediaCom customers? Those utilities that you might have, rural electrics, that some of them have scholarships available. So inquiring with your local businesses or your utility companies, even where you bank, to see if they have scholarships available as you are their customers. Again, ICAN Scholarship Database, Step 1 Scholarship Search. This is in partnership with ISL Education Lending. There will be starting October, a scholarship search database right on our website, icansucceed.org/scholarships. Again, you can go to step1scholarships.org as well. But it's a one-stop shop for scholarships where you can look up national, regional, state scholarships as well. And it'll notify you, but if you create that account, it will notify you of new scholarships that match with you and will provide you reminders with, hey, you saved this scholarship. It's going to be due soon. Make sure you submit that application. So again, starting October, you will have access to this scholarship database as well. While you are applying to those scholarships, it's important to have an activities resume. This activities resume contains all the information that the student did in high school in terms of school activities, extracurriculars, clubs, sports, organizations, their community involvement, any employment they've had, any honors, awards, or talents they have. This is a running document for students to list the number of years they participated in that activity, their leadership in that activity, what they did, any positions they've held in those activities. It's a great resource to have for students, as when they are applying to some scholarships, they will find that there are scholarships that will ask for this information or even to have a resume attached. And if students already have this created, it saves them time and effort when completing those applications, because it will already be done and they can just attach it right there. So parents on the call, how can you help your students throughout your senior year? For you all, it's important to lay those family expectations early so there are no surprises. Letting students know this is our commitment to you and your post-secondary adventure. This is our role. This is your role. Here's what we're willing to help with or we can help with. And students, this is what you need to contribute to that as well. It's important to lay those expectations with academics, not only for your expectations of academics through high school, the rest of high school, but also through college and what their expectations are if you're going to support them through that. Financially, kind of laying those frameworks. Who's paying those bills? While in college or even now, where's the spending money coming from? Are there spending limits? Are there credit cards part of that college plan? And if so, helping students, if they are going to get those credit cards out starting when they're 18 or a little older, making sure that they have those responsibilities in place to borrow financially wise and not spend too much on those credit cards. Also, those expectations come in social life. They expected to come home? If so, are they going to have a car on campus? Whose car is it? Some of those social expectations while in college as well. We do have, lastly, from my portion of things, we do have ICAN alerts for students and families to sign up for. These include tips of the week videos, grade level alerts, event alerts and reminders, as well as our social media. So this is a great opportunity to sign up. You can go scan that QR code that's right on your screen, or go to our website at icansucceed.org/sign up. And you can sign up for all or whichever alerts you would like to get those timely reminders sent to you through our alert system. We do have a few fairs that I want to highlight as well. We partner with the military and we offer military career fairs. We have one coming up here very shortly in a couple of weeks, and then every couple of weeks here through the month of October, we have various military fairs coming up in different locations all throughout the state. So you can visit our website, icansucceed.org/military fair, to find those locations and which dates and times those military fairs are, and attend. We have representation from all branches of the military, as well as the academies, as well as in ROTCs and active enlistment as well. And then we also, our big event coming up here this coming Sunday, part of this On Track series, we have our Golden Circle College and Career Fair. That is this Sunday, the 21st, from 1 to 3 p.m. This is at Prairie Meadows in Altoona. We have over 100 exhibitors from colleges and universities, apprenticeships, and career training programs, all here to meet with students. So it's a great opportunity from 1 to 3 to bring your students, seniors, or any other student to this event and meet with different colleges, as well as military and apprenticeship programs as well. So now I am going to turn it over to Shelly at ISL Education Lending, and she is going to talk to y'all about some services available and some scholarship money.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Really appreciate all that really great information, especially for all of you seniors and senior parents. Can be a lot this year. I know you have a lot going on, but I'm Shelly Adams with ISL Education Lending. A little bit about ISL is most people are familiar with our former title or former name of Iowa Student Loan, but we are a nonprofit student loan provider here in the state of Iowa. We've been incorporated for over 40 years, and basically our goal is to help families and students in Iowa plan and be smart about their planning for college. And the way we do that is by providing some free tools and resources that can help you along the way, as well as some scholarships. You know, everybody likes that free money, and that's actually the first thing you should be looking at. Want to talk to you about a couple of our scholarship programs and a way to earn that free money for college. But the program I manage for ISL Education Lending is SP3, or Student Planning Pointers for Parents. It's an email service for parents who have students in 8th through 12th grades. Basically, the sign up is very, very easy. You just go out to sp3.org, give us a little demographic information about yourself, and then enroll your students in 8th through 12th grades. We're going to send you a couple of emails each month with links to some articles that will mirror what ICAN is doing, what their efforts are in schools, as well as what school counselors are doing with the students. Talking about timely information, giving it to you relevantly for your school, the age of your student, and then giving you some pointers about how to develop some conversations between you and your student. The best part about SP3 is that there's a prize component attached to it. So as parents read those articles, they answer some survey questions following each article, and then they're entered into a drawing that occurs quarterly. So we'll randomly select 40 of our SP3 participants to receive a $250 savings plan deposit to a 529. And that can be any 529 plan, whether it's through iSave 529 here in Iowa, or one you may have previously opened with another provider, or through a financial advisor. So it's really a great time to sign up, especially now. If you get signed up, the first articles you receive will be next Wednesday on the 26th, just in time, or sorry, the 24th, excuse me, just in time for all things FAFSA. So those topics for seniors will include all that Carrie has already talked about. But as a student loan provider, some of the information we can give you is about selecting student loans and being smart about borrowing, and in order to be able to repay loans in the future, if that's what is necessary for families to help pay for additional costs above and beyond what financial aid is giving you. And then the other scholarship program, is the ISL Education Lending Scholarship. This is currently happening right now with SP3. You can sign up all year long and you'll get those articles all year long. But with the ISL Education Lending Scholarship, we currently have the registration period open now through December 5th. And then we'll have another registration period open in the spring semester. But for this, we'll be giving away to 45 participants or 45 registrants, and these are any Iowa high school student, their parents or guardians, as well as undergraduate college level students. So there are multiple options and ways to be entered into this scholarship program. So 45 $1,000 deposits to the iSave 529 accounts. Now, that's formerly College Savings Iowa, and you do specifically have to have an iSave 529 account. Very simple registration. The drawings are random. We'll be holding that after the end date of the scholarship. And then there's an educational component attached to this registration. You're going to be going through a few of our tools, Student Loan Game Plan, College Funding Forecaster, which is an excellent tool to compare those financial aid offers that your student would be receiving coming up this winter. Really easy sign up again at iowastudentloan.org /college savings. So want to be sure you had that information, and good luck with this year with your senior student. It is a wonderful year. Enjoy it and have fun with all of those lasts.
Thank you so much, Shelley. I'm now going to turn it over to Danielle at the Bureau of Iowa College Aid to talk about some programs that they have available for you all.
Thank you, Carrie, and welcome everyone that is here this evening. Congratulations on taking this step to be on track for your senior year. This is really exciting. We have just a few things to share. Our program does offer a lot for school counselors, CCTCs that might be within your building to support your college and career readiness with your students, as well as some student guides and parent supports. But what I would like to share today is an opportunity for you to be a part of a texting campaign that would support your students and families as they work through the college going process. So our virtual coach is a texting program that we provide as an available resource for all of you. This is a way to connect with a college coach via that texting campaign option. And this is a live person that we support you and your student in that process. We have Liz Yedoff, who is her emoji is at the bottom there. And she supports that through our opportunities in sharing out information about FAFSA, financial aid, college application supports, scholarship applications, and deadlines, tips and reminders that might be helpful for your student in those college going steps that we surround with that prepare, apply, finance, decide, and go. And then any information and reminders that might be important for regional events as well. The QR code here on the bottom takes you directly to a link to register. Opportunity, I'm very, very sorry. But we also have a link that I'm going to share with you in the chat here, and this will take you directly to that link that will link you to the texting program, as well as an opportunity to register for any one-on-one support with college applications, FAFSA, reading your financial aid reports and financial aid packages from your colleges, and any other additional support that you might need from our college coaches. So if you have any questions, I will also drop our email in the chat, but feel free to register, and we hope to see a lot of you in our chat circle as we move forward this year.
Thank you, Danielle. I do hope you all take advantage of these services that are available to you. At this time, I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Eric, and he is going to lead us in the college panel discussions. Stop sharing my screen.
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate it. We've already had some good information that's been shared, and you can tell there's so many services that are available to you to help you through this process, whether you've been through it before as parents with another student or this is your first time. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We've already had some great questions in the chat box that we've answered. Please let us know if there are any other questions you have throughout this webinar again, and we'll try to get those questions answered to you as well. Next, we are going into our panel discussion, and we've got some admissions folks, and they've also brought along a couple of students to get their perspectives as well. And I'm going to have to go around and have everyone introduce themselves initially here. And I am going to start off with Dawn.
Thanks. Hi, sorry. I'm Dawn Barnes. I'm the Director of Admissions at Simpson College. Super excited to be here with you tonight. And I brought along one of my students with me, but I will let her introduce herself. Right, Eric?
That's right. We're going to go ahead and have her introduce herself. That is Maddie.
Okay, Maddie.
Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm a junior at Simpson College, and my major is marketing communications with a minor in entrepreneurship and honors.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for being here tonight, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to ask you some questions. From the University of Iowa, I'm going to first have Chris introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. Chris Trado, I'm one of the associate directors at the University of Iowa, like Eric mentioned. It's our pleasure to be here and support this tonight and try to help guide you through this, whatever, next 6 to 9 months, basically, before graduation. So I help oversee all of our recruitment within the state of Iowa. Been fortunate to call the university home for about 15 years. So looking forward to this.
Chris brought along a student tonight, Maggie.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maggie. I am a second-year student at the University of Iowa studying political science on the pre-law track with a certificate in entrepreneurial management. Maddie mentioned it, so I'll mention it too. I'm also an honors student at Iowa, and I am from Glencoe, Iowa, which is the west side of the state, best side of the state.
Well, let's see in the chat if anybody disagrees or agrees with that. We'll see where everybody's from. But no, Maggie, thank you very much for being here and looking forward to getting both you and Maddie's perspectives on this. It's always a highlight of our panel. We've also got from Des Moines University, Tricia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trisha from Des Moines University. It's just me tonight, but I work in the admissions office at DMU and specifically with high school students who are interested in the health sciences. So DMU is a graduate health sciences university. We offer a number of programs that are clinical, working hands-on with patients. And then we also have some master's degrees in other areas as well. So I'm excited to answer questions.
Thank you, Tricia, and it'll be great to get your perspective from DMU for students even in high school right now. We've got some questions already that's been prepared ahead of time, but again, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat box and we'll try to take those as well. I'm actually going to start off with our students tonight. Maddie, I'll start off with you. What was a high school experience that really prepared you for the transition to college?
I think the best transition was I took just like a study class in high school to kind of just help prepare students to kind of have that study experience. The biggest like shock in college is the work difference. I was one of those kids that I didn't really have to study for tests too much in high school. So the biggest like shift in the transition to college was you do have to study. So I did really appreciate kind of having that type of learning how to do it in high school prep course.
Great, great. Maggie, same question to you.
Yeah, I kind of had a completely different kind of answer to that. But in high school, from my junior to my senior year, that summer, I attended the American Legion Auxiliary Girls State at Drake University, where we got to stay at the university for a week. It was like a big mock government camp, but it was really great as like a networking experience to kind of practice my socializing skills. You know, you're staying in a college dorm with girls your age, so you're kind of learning how to make friends right off the jump. It was definitely great to get into that transition, to kind of know how to make those connections right away from that experience that I had the summer before.
Great, great. Now I'm gonna turn the perspective over a little bit differently, and Don, I'll start with you. What do you think are some of the most important things for students and parents to consider when they're selecting a college?
I know that throughout this presentation tonight, there have been a lot of good answers to that question, honestly. You know, when I look at it from my perspective, I've been on the admissions side of things for about 5 years now. I've been at Simpson since 2013, but we're a blended family and we have our last one is a senior this year. So this is number 5 of 5 kiddos for us going through the college process. And so it's been a little bit different for each one. I think looking at the overall, and I hate to use this word, you know, as an adult, because it probably isn't great, but the vibe, right? My kids kind of laugh when I say that word, but the vibe has to feel right, whether that's size, location, cost, all those things need to be taken into consideration. And it's a little different for everyone. Simpson's obviously much smaller than the University of Iowa, but I know I took my kids to all different sizes of campuses so they could figure out what was really best for them, you know, so going through the process with them, the visits, and just the feel of each campus is a little bit different. So I think that's what I'd start with.
Sure. Chris, same question to you.
Yeah, I don't need to be repetitive. Dawn did a really good job of explaining that. The only thing I would add is, you know, we talk about as admissions folks about the academic component of this decision, and obviously that's important, right? You're going to select a school because they have the major or maybe majors that you're considering throughout this, you know, this senior year cycle. But I think that's only a piece, and Dawn hit on it. That's just a piece of what this experience that hopefully you're going to live here as a first year student or a transfer student on a college campus. And I agree with Dawn. I mean, you have to feel comfortable. It may seem really elementary for us to say that, but it's truth. So whether you go back to campus for a second time on a visit, or hang out with friends, or honestly just go to the cafeteria and sit there and people watch, all those things play into the factor in the sense of saying, do I feel comfortable and I could spend the potentially next 4 years of my life at this institution?
No, great perspectives. Thank you. I'm going to actually come back then to Maggie. I'll start with you this time because it kind of goes along the lines with this, what you were saying. Maggie, what was the most important to you in picking a college,
Yeah,
or some of the important things? Yeah.
definitely. Fantastic question. When I was a senior in high school and finally, getting to the point where, okay, what am I looking at in schools? I had two things in mind. I wanted to stay in the state of Iowa and I wanted to go pre-law. I didn't know what I wanted to major in yet. I wasn't quite sure about any of that, but with those two things in mind and looking, ahead to schools that had law schools with them, I was between Drake University and the University of Iowa, which, when you look, one's private, one's public, one's 2.5 hours from home, one's 4 hours from home. But actually, getting to be on the campus, like Chris said, making that second visit here at the University of Iowa really sold it for me. I was able to meet with people in my department that just sold it, and I was ready to have that kind of bigger experience. I grew up in a town of 200 people, so I was kind of ready to have that contrast where I could be a little fish in a big pond. But I definitely also had that sense of community here where I can, never have to leave my house and not bump into someone I know or have a friendly conversation. So kind of got the best of both worlds there. But definitely I was looking at staying in the state of Iowa and my academic area of interest.
Awesome. Maddie, same question to you. What helped you kind of decisions to help you choose Simpson?
I think I really want to echo what Dawn said about just touring different campuses. I knew like I toured a bigger college. I toured Iowa State first, and then I toured Simpson. And as soon as I stepped foot on the smaller campus, I just felt more comfortable and at home personally. So that's one of the biggest things is just deciding how many people you want on campus. And then I knew I wanted marketing. Simpson has a great department for that. And also just everybody was so friendly, the community. I did kind of go exploring with my mom around the town that you're going to be in, figuring out what's close by, how comfortable are you. I do recommend just like checking out the communal spaces on campus and seeing, do you feel like you could spend a lot of time studying there, and just seeing how comfortable you are, because I'm somebody who I don't want too many people on the campus, so I really enjoy Simpson's smaller size, and that was something that I definitely kind of focused on when picking a college.
That's a great point. There's no right or wrong answers on some of these that on the reasons. They need to be the reasons that you pick and to choose. And you probably had some friends who wanted the bigger size than the smaller size, and that you choose. And absolutely. I did want to come back to Trisha now, or come to Trisha now. Trisha, being a graduate school, just your perspective on the question about what are some important things students and parents need to consider when selecting a college, and looking at going beyond and into a graduate program, for example.
Sure. I think a lot of what everyone said applies. Finding the setting that you learn and thrive best in will only help you meet those big goals of maybe entering a graduate program. So, taking that into consideration, if you feel like you are at home and that you have the tools you need to be successful, that will only help you reach those big goals beyond undergraduate school. So, definitely doing the research on what your goals are and maybe what supports those schools offer as well. So, what kind of opportunities, hands on experiences, job shadowing, advising, those are all good things to talk about when you're looking as well. But ultimately, you want to be in a place where you can thrive and be successful. So, whether that's a big school or a small school, as a graduate level institution, it does not matter to us what size of school you choose. We're looking at your experiences. How have you grown as a person? How has it made you more passionate about the goal you're achieving? So there are so many great options. You should choose the one that you feel like you will thrive in the most. And for all of our programs, we accept courses from any regionally or accredited school in the United States. So we really don't have a preference on which school you pick. We're looking at how you grew and what your experiences were at that institution.
Thank you, Tricia. There have been some questions come in through the chat that we're going to take occasionally, and this was one that I actually wanted to get student perspectives again on. Somebody had asked, what are resources for challenges new college students face their first year of college? Maddie, start with you. What are some resources for challenges new college students face their first year in college? Maybe even something that might have helped you in getting acclimated.
Yes, so I think the biggest thing is Simpson, at the very least, we offer free counseling on campus. So you're able to kind of just go talk through what's going on. And well, with for how we do advisors is you get like before you even declare a major, because you do have to wait at Simpson to do that. That way you can kind of figure out what your passion is. You do just have like an advisor who doesn't really advise many other students to kind of just focus on first years and making sure their experience is good. You can always go back to your admissions counselor. All of our professors have open office hours and really encourage students to kind of go talk to them. I know I literally first week of school went to all of my professors and I asked them, how should I study for your class? And they were able to help me kind of formulate how I should study and excel in their classes in specific, since I knew studying wasn't my best area. That way I could do really well. So kind of just talking to people, communicating, and kind of just seeking out writing lab. Go to the writing lab. I'm pretty sure every single college has one, and is getting familiar with those kind of more academic resources that every single college has.
Great. Great advice. Thanks, Maddie. Maggie, same question to you.
Yeah, I think Maddie kind of hit the nail on the head when it comes to counseling services. University of Iowa has plenty of those available for students, as well as office hours. I love promoting office hours. I've had some incredible relationships I've built with my professors through those. I think another great thing that we offer here is supplemental instruction, which is just a fancy word for tutoring that we offer for a lot of our STEM courses. Students who have previously gotten over a 95% in these classes lead a group study review to do practice exams, Kahoots, marker board review. I definitely took advantage of that a lot last year for a science class of mine. I'm not a super sciencey person, but come exam time, I was very thankful for showing up for those and just getting that extra help I needed to make sure I was really studying all those more finite concepts. But yeah, when it comes to things like reaching out to people for support, you also have your residence assistants or RAs. These are students who are living on your floors and they're there to be a resource for you, whether it's like, hey, my roommate has a banana peel and won't throw it away, to, hey, I'm missing home. Can I just kind of talk to you about it? They are really there to talk to you. And I had the funniest RA last year. I lived on an honors only floor, so it was a hoot and a half. And I'm very thankful for having that experience as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Another question has come through, and Tricia, I think this is one that you would be best to answer. Somebody asked, what is the best way to complete a master's degree, then go to medical school to get your doctorate?
Sure, that's a great question. I also want to clarify that you do not have to get a master's degree to apply to medical school. Some students choose to, but it's not required. Some reasons that they may choose to take that step in between undergraduate and medical school would be either they're really passionate about something like research or anatomy that they feel will strengthen their skill set and they really love it, or maybe they're looking to improve their science GPA to strengthen their application. So those are a couple of reasons they may look at master's program, but again, it's not required. It's completely dependent upon the student. It can be a strength to your application. I would say most of the time, students are getting a master's degree in one of the hard science areas. DMU offers a Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences, which is a more research-focused degree, and then we also have the Master of Science in Anatomy, which is really focused on becoming an expert in that area. So there are a variety of reasons you may want to take that step, but just know that if you'd rather go straight from undergrad to medical school, you also have that option. I would recommend working with your undergraduate advisor when you get kind of closer to that step and talk through those options and see what the next best step could be for you. You can also reach out to us at any time throughout your experience to ask that question as well.
Thank you, Tricia. Next, I'm going to actually bring in my colleague, Carrie, who's doing double duty tonight because she used to be a former school counselor as well. Carrie, getting from a school counselor's perspective, what are some important things students should be doing during their high school senior year? And I'm going to combine this with what are some of the mistakes that you saw sometimes students made during their senior year?
Yeah. So in terms of what they should be doing during high school, academics, they should still be focusing on those academics, taking those challenging courses. Yes, it's your senior year. Yes, we want to have fun, but those academics still matter. Those classes still matter. Sometimes taking one extra core class or one extra, elective that's not a PE can help strengthen your GPA, can help get you a scholarship. So still taking those core class academics is important. I would also say deadlines. I know I said it in the first part of the presentation, but during your senior year, deadlines really do need to become your best friend, because you might think you have time to apply for a scholarship, and before you know it, prom or homecoming is here, the football game is here, you had this club and activity, and the scholarship is due tomorrow and you haven't even started that essay. So being aware of those deadlines, planning out all the scholarships that are available to you. As a high school counselors, they will have the list, like I mentioned, of all local scholarships in advance. So the application might not be out right now, but you as parents, as students, can go through that list of scholarships to know when that application is coming out, when it is due, and kind of making that list of priorities of when to do those activities, really focusing on those time management opportunities. I'm also going to tell you, even if you're 100% decided on where you're going, still doing another campus visit to that college is a great activity to do during that senior year, just to confirm, yep, that is still where I'm going. If you've never been to the campus that you say you are going, get to that campus. I know a few have mentioned it before about a vibe, about that felt at home. It is a true thing. Students will make those decisions based on that. So making sure that you get to those campuses, even again, for one last time, to making sure that, yep, this is where I want to go. Then to some mistakes. I'm going to say the procrastination or not paying attention to deadlines. I might be a broken record on this one, but in my 15 years as that high school counselor, these sneak up on you very quickly. I always told my students, the best thing you can do, fill out your college applications. If you don't know, have those done to everywhere you want by November. Have that FAFSA application completed by Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's done, it's out of the way, because majority of the time, those local scholarships for your high schools will start coming out December, January timeframe. So just kind of making sure that you plan for all of those activities. Don't ignore your grades. Again, those grades still matter. Scholarships can be given or taken away even during this senior year. So don't miss those deadlines. I'm also going to address, there were two other questions that were in the chat, and they might have been very specific to this situation, but I feel like they could be good for the cause. So how to request transcripts, just in case there are on the call that do not know how to request their transcripts from their counselors or their school. Your school counselor, your number one resource. Your school counselor will know how to request that official transcript. Many schools, it goes through that school counselor, but at other schools, if it's a very big school, might have a registrar that is dedicated to that. So again, work with your school counselor, they will know that. Another question came through that was about how to decide on a major. And colleges, students, you can, if you have resources too, feel free to jump in here and talk about this, because some colleges I do feel like maybe have some match tools. But utilizing your school's career information system. Depending on where you are in the state, you might use what is called Zello or Cooter or Naviance. Those are all systems to explore careers. Every single one of those, when you're exploring those careers, will also list majors for that. I will throw in another one, ACT. ACT.org, the place where you sign up to take the ACT test, has plans. They're called plans on ACT. They also have a major map tool in there. If you take those assessments, it will then match your interests to those majors, so you can explore what majors to take, and it will give lists of different colleges that have those majors available. Dawn, Chris, or even the students, if you guys have other tools that you specifically use at your college, feel free to share, not to take over that portion. But
let me actually ask, let me start with Maggie. Maggie, how did you choose your career or major that you're getting into? Did you do any kind of internships or job shadowing at all?
Yeah, that's a very good question. My senior year, I had a high school class that required us to do a job shadow, and I job shadowed the girl who used to babysit me growing up. She was actually a lobbyist for the Iowa Cattlemen's Association. So, working with legislature and the Cattlemen's Association to kind of push policy forward, I was able to shadow her on a day where they were bringing the Undersecretary of Agriculture out to farms to see what was needing to change in the Farm Bill. I could go into really big detail, but I don't have to. But that kind of advocacy was something that really kind of spoke to me. And going into that job shadow, I was thinking law maybe could be something for me. And I knew government had always kind of festered in the back of my mind. I talked about that government camp that I went to. That was really something that I could see myself doing. I obviously do have a passion for public speaking, as you can tell as well. So the legal field does seem like something I could excel in very well. So that's where that pre-law portion comes in. And then the political science kind of factors in with all that government on the other end of that.
Excellent. Maddie, how did you choose your major? What kind of experiences did you have that where you settled on it?
Yeah, so I think I'm actually in a similar boat to the like student in question of the question where it's like kiddo doesn't know what to do. I was the same way where I didn't get into the honors choir in my high school, so my mom forced me very lovingly to try to join another club, and I actually stumbled upon DECA, which is a business association that you guys may have in your high schools. And I kind of just fell in love with marketing and PR and stuff like that. And so DECA's competition actually takes place on Simpson's campus. So I was there. I fell in love with it. I dragged my mom to go tour, and Simpson has a speech and debate team. I knew I wanted to do that. And so it was kind of just trying different clubs in high school, even if your student doesn't want to. Like, I did not want to. I was like, I in theater, I'm in speech. I have so much going on, mom. And still, I listened to her and it turned out for the better. So sometimes you just have to give your students a little push to just try new clubs. There's so many in high school that kind of help prepare for different careers and atmospheres that you definitely should be taking advantage of.
So what you're saying is sometimes the parents are correct. Is that what? Okay, I like that. I like that. Chris, Trisha, or Dawn, anything else to add to that about resources looking in careers either?
The only thing I'll add is all these college campuses, our responsibility is to help you graduate and help you take that next step. So whether that's a job right out of college or a graduate program or whatever you choose, that's our responsibilities in our college campuses. And we have wonderful offices, and for Dawn, myself, and Trisha, we have really great partners. Who we help guide you to if this is the right fit for you, and then we pass you to our peers to support you with those next steps, whether that's career services or career exploration or academic exploration. Just know that those are going to happen. Not only what Carrie hit on in high school, hopefully, but that's going to persist when you get to college as well, if you need that assistance.
I think just to add on to what Chris said, I absolutely agree. We kind of pass you on to our colleagues once they get there and they get on campus for those internship opportunities, those resume writing workshops. I go back to my personal family. My son came to Simpson, really thought as a high schooler he knew what he wanted to major in, and got to Simpson, and after taking a couple of science classes with labs, realized really that's probably not what was for him, and turned his interest to business and IT, and ended up with 2 degrees in the business field and the IT field. And he said, as a 17-year-old in high school, I would never have known I'd be working in cybersecurity as a 28-year-old, right? But Simpson and college itself allowed him to explore different areas to kind of find where his interests lie, where his passions lie, like Maddie said earlier. So
I think the only thing I would add is echoing off of what both Chris and Don said. It's okay if something ends up not being for you. I think it's a common misconception that you need to go in with a plan and know exactly what you want to do, and then you execute that plan. It's okay to find something that you don't like, and that's just as important as what you do like. So saying yes to the opportunities that all of these institutions offer you, whether it's job shadowing, internship, volunteering, going out and saying yes to those opportunities to find what you're really passionate about will help you rule out the things that maybe aren't a fit for you. And maybe you find something that you didn't even know about that does really click and you feel passionate about that. So maybe just taking a deep breath and being open to new experiences so you can really let that college kind of guide you through the opportunities that they have for you.
Tricia, I'm going to come back to you real quick. There was a question on if there are any programs that pay for medical school, or does that not exist?
So most graduate institutions with medical schools will offer a select number of scholarships. I will say there's probably fewer available than at the undergraduate level, so that is a possibility. However, we always encourage students to look for outside scholarships. There can be loan forgiveness programs after graduation, depending on, where you choose to work, whether it's in a rural area, then they're really looking for physicians who want to work in rural care. Those options can exist out there. And I know at DMU, we have a pretty strong financial aid office who does a lot of outreach with you while you're in medical school, not only to just help you manage your finances while in medical school, but kind of looking towards how am I going to pay off my loans? What are the tools I need to be successful in that endeavor as well? So there will be resources and help along the way, but also looking at that undergraduate experience and taking advantage of those opportunities since you're going to be in school for a little bit longer is always a good idea as well.
I do kind of want to go back to talking about some of the classes there, the importance of classes, especially junior and senior year too. Chris, I'm going to start with you on it. It is kind of an open-ended question, how important are junior and especially senior, we're talking to seniors tonight, senior classes right now that they're taking, and that could even be including some of those folks that are taking college credit ahead of time too.
Yeah, you walked right into that one, Eric, and Carrie did a good job of explaining this earlier. But I think that the trends, there's three different buckets for me. There's one to try to finish strong, right? Because it just gives you momentum when you get to college. So that's number one. I think we all know that if you can finish strong, you're going to keep on, hopefully keep that momentum going. Number two, with regards to the college credit, Eric, anymore that's becoming prevalent, specifically in our state. So that's a wonderful opportunity that students are presented. And at many colleges, I would just say that you've started your college career, right, in a high school capacity. And so at many colleges, those grades do follow you. So the importance of that and the awareness of that, of finishing, doing well in those classes is extremely important. And candidly, I just forgot what my third one was, so I'm going to get off the hook on that one and let Dawn go.
Yeah. Dawn, what was Chris's third point, first of all, and then get into your answer if you could.
I don't have a lot to add either. I think Carrie did a nice job earlier, really going through all that. Oftentimes I will speak with underclassmen to talk about the importance of cumulative GPA, right? And the importance of that for your merit scholarships when you are starting to apply as a senior. So that cumulative GPA, man, that starts your freshman year. And I have this conversation with freshman advisory groups now, talking about that, showing them charts from the University of Iowa, from Simpson, how important those GPAs are starting from that freshman year. So, and finishing strong, like Chris said, super important. Get you ready for the rigor of college, like Maddie spoke to earlier.
And you all, I think it's always important to say, no matter what, they're getting acceptance letters right now, and that is they're applying, but you're always going to be asking for final transcripts at the very
Yes.
end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We will. And Eric, the only thing I'll add to that, and Dawn walked into this one in the sense of like at some schools, your scholarships, there may be pivot points. If you hit a certain GPA your fall of your senior year, or what we would call your seventh semester, that could propel you potentially, let's say, from a 3.79 to a 3.81. And in some schools that can make impact, and or take it out of the school for just a second with regards to an ACT or an SAT. Many schools will allow you to take that throughout your senior year. And that 1 point or 2 points can make a difference in some situations with regards to finances as well.
Thank you. Going to come to Tricia now. Not only, I would say, junior and senior in high school, but even talking about college, Tricia, the importance of not only the classes, but another question would be, when do students even begin really looking, if they know they're going on to graduate school, when would they begin that process too?
Yeah, so when you're applying to graduate school, we no longer look at your high school grades or your ACT score. However, that's all good habit making to, like everyone has said, keep that going strong at the undergrad level. And we do look at your cumulative GPA from undergrad in addition to your science GPA for some of our programs. So really digging into those courses that we feel like will give you a good base for expanding upon the next level. So having a good start with those study skills and propelling it forward is definitely the best way to go. We will also look for progression throughout your transcript. So if you freshman year had some things to figure out, but you finally found your study skills that worked for you and you have a nice upward trend in your transcripts, we will take a look at that as well. But it's always better to start those good habits as early as you can so that you're not trying to make up for it later in the game. If you're looking at graduate school, as soon as you think that might be something you're interested in when you're in undergrad, it might be a good idea to talk to your advisor. There are prerequisite courses, not only for health science graduate programs, but for many of them. So a lot of ours are in the hard sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, and we want to make sure that you have those courses prior to the first day of classes for us. So knowing that you have time to finish those prerequisites. We also have some hands-on components for some of our programs, like our physician assistant program. We do require a certain number of patient care hours. And so knowing that those are your goals and budgeting your time so that you have time to gain those hands-on experiences and have the academics to back up those experiences is a good thing. You don't have to know freshman year, but once you know that's something that you're looking at, I would sit down with your advisor and see what types of things do I need to budget my time for in order to be ready to apply. Typically, those applications will open this summer before your senior year of college, as early as April for some. So that spring, summer, right before your senior year of undergrad is when those applications open. And we do encourage you to apply early since they're competitive.
Thank you, Tricia. And we got another question. You had mentioned the ACT, and we just got a question in the chat box about does taking the ACT, SAT help you get more scholarships if you have a very good GPA? I'm actually going to, Dawn, I'll come to you first, not only with that question, but I think we should also get into how you might look at the ACT as well at your institution.
Yes, thanks, Eric. We are a test optional school, so you do not have to take the ACT to come to Simpson. However, I always recommend it just as a good practice. I mean, taking that kind of test at that kind of level for that extended period of time is good practice. We do have one scholarship if you have a 31 composite or above that you would be eligible for. Let's see, you have to be in the top 5% of your class and have a 31 composite on the ACT or above. Other than that, we don't require the ACT score.
But to clarify, to be in the top 5%, you're going to have a good GPA, but you're going to need that ACT score as well. So with that question, it's not going to be everything, but that would be one example of a scholarship you have.
That's one component. Absolutely. Yes. Thanks, Eric. Yes. And we only give 2 or 3 a year. They are very competitive. But that is the only one. Otherwise, our merit scholarships are based on your cumulative GPA.
Chris, same question to you.
Yeah, I'll hit on two pieces, one with regards to admission and one with regards to financial aid or merit scholarships, free money. For the region schools, the only way for us to be transparent is through the Region Admission Index, the RAI. And to calculate or calibrate the RAI, you need to have a test score. So while all three of us, I'll speak for all three of us, are test optional, you don't have to supply a test. That just provides transparency. If you want to look at that formula with your school counselor or go online and calculate that. Number two, with regards to the money we have, at least at Iowa, we have 2 pots of money. We have a pot of money for students with a test and students without a test. In full transparency, the students that supply a score that's indicative of who they are do have an opportunity for greater monies out there. So yeah, I think we think that the test score is still important in the sense of how we're calibrating our aid that we're delivering to students.
Thank you. And every college can be a little bit different on how they would look at this. So please check with each individual college that your students are looking at and talk to their admissions folks. They will be able to let you know what is needed if you've already taken a score, if you get a higher score, whether that could help get more financial aid, so retaking it again. And as senior students, now is the time to be asking those questions right away for that with each individual school you're looking at. I wanted to also, or next, I wanted to go back to our students and ask Maddie, I'll start with you this time. What is any advice that you would give right now to a high school senior, whether you got the advice and you used it or wish you would have known in high school? Any, one thing that sticks out to you, any advice to give a high school senior right now?
Get a planner now. They've been talking about deadlines this entire time, and that is so important in high school and in college because right now your teachers may be very lenient when it comes to deadlines. And at least the professors at Simpson, they can give extensions, but you do still need to know when things are happening. And so much happens at college and those final years of high school that get a planner now, figure out what style you like, and start using it like routinely because you need to build habits in high school if you want to be very successful in college because it takes a while to build those habits. And if you don't do it, then when you're trying to figure out a plan or and everything like that in college, it's going to take a little bit. So just do it now and your life will be so much better. I promise you. I didn't start using a planner until college, and oh boy, I wish I just did it in high school.
Excellent. Maggie had shown her planner that she already had, but she can't use that same answer. No, it's how would you answer this question, Maggie?
Yeah, kind of going back to what Maddie said earlier about just really applying yourself in high school, getting that good practice to keep your interests really broad. I went to a pretty small high school, so I was able to be involved in many things. I was a four-sport athlete. I was in NHS and FCCLA and, all of these things, student council and speech and theater. And, I was really all over the board, but that helped me build up skills and to figure out what drives me and what I could like really love doing. And that kind of fed into what I wanted to do with my life. So even though I was, really kind of all over the board in high school, finding the things that I really had the passion for really helped me make that decision come college time. And when you are looking at schools, and you're kind of getting down to your top three, your top two, my biggest piece of advice would be to find the place that feels like home to you. I mean, that's exactly what I found here at the University of Iowa, and I love it so much. I work as a tour guide, so I try to get people to come to the university every single day. So you can definitely take my word for it, but no matter where you end up, just make sure it is the fit for you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate everybody's advice and comments to questions that we have. What I'm going to do right now is, as we're winding our time down, I'm going to put out a last call. If there's any questions in there, some of them we may not address, but we can address out here in the open, but might do it within the chat box. We've done some of those right now as well. But what I want to do is I want to go around and ask everyone, what is your last words of wisdom that you would want to give, whether stressing maybe a topic that we've already covered, or maybe there's an area that we didn't already in doing? What's some of your last bits of advice that you would give here at the end? And I don't know if she knew I was going to ask her this, but I've only went to her once as my colleague and our school counselor on there. Carrie, any last wisdom, or was there maybe a question I didn't ask that you think we should address from a school counselor perspective?
So my wisdom would be, seniors, if you do not have a professional email, get that now. Your school email is going to go away when you graduate. So when you're filling out the FAFSA, you need that application, the studentaid.gov account. When you're applying to colleges, use a professional email. You might have one already because you have an iPhone, so you have an iCloud. Make sure it's professional. I know some iCloud users have, basketball lover or whatever as their name on there. So make sure it's professional. First name, last name, as best as can. I know sometimes you have to have a number added in there, but professional email, that's going to come in very handy for applying to colleges, talking to admissions reps, talking for the FAFSA for life, even later down the road, applying for jobs as well. You can use that for the rest of your life. And then I would also say, still take advantage of your senior year, still have all the fun, still partake in all of your traditions. I know a lot of schools on the eastern side of the state, it's homecoming week in the next few weeks. So go all out, have fun, participate in homecoming, proms, all those things as your final senior year. Make those memories because senior year will be gone in a flash. Yes, we did have a question come through about a student that if they're on the autism spectrum, top of the class in honors classes, is there a system that shows colleges that help students in this area? I'll leave that to maybe Chris and Dawn to talk about that with, helping students in that area. This student was specifically looking at engineering, but otherwise those would be my words of advice.
Good job, Carrie. I'll quickly address that. I think there are several schools in Iowa that have engineering as a major. In full transparency, I would just reach out to them because I think they could each assist a student in a unique way. Some might have better approaches than others in the sense of what the needs are. So long story short, find out which of the schools in Iowa have engineering as a major, follow up with those 2 or 3 that might have interest, and we'll be happy to guide you on that and support you.
Chris, I'm going to come back to you then as well. Any last words of wisdom, advice, anything to share with the students and families of these seniors?
Yeah, I'm going to pivot off the admission stuff. I candidly, I think a couple of our younger staff members have been told thank you a lot in the past week. And thank you from either high school counselors because of something they did to help them, from a family, from a student, from a parent, because they helped them figure out which community college courses transfer in. And I'll just say that from a high school student, if we're adults on this call and we're coaching those students, the more they can say thank you right now, to those individuals, whether it's a teacher, a coach, a clergy individual, whoever that might be, that goes a long ways. It may seem really Captain Obvious, but it goes a long ways. And I think to build those skills right now is going to help tremendously when they get to college as well, of helping saying thank you to those people who are supporting you. And I hope that happens. I hope sometimes that doesn't go, definitely does not go unnoticed. So thank you.
Great advice. And thank you, Chris, for being here and bringing in Maggie along as well. Really appreciate that. Dawn, going to come to you next.
I think what I want to reiterate to parents and students on here, and what I've been meeting with families every day recently, families of seniors that are starting this process right now. And my biggest piece of advice is I give them a little of an abbreviated, easy timeline, right? Get your applications done right now. Get your apps done. The FAFSA opens October 1st, right? Don't let sticker price dissuade you from applying to a school. Privates and states are very differently funded. Scholarships are different. State aid is very different. So number one, don't let sticker price dissuade you from applying. Number two, get your applications done, because when that FAFSA opens October 1st, you want to be able to list all the schools you're interested in. And if you've been admitted to those schools, you will receive financial aid packages from those schools. It's always a shame to me when kids will reach out in March and say, hey, I put Simpson on the FAFSA, but I haven't received a financial aid package. Well, you haven't applied yet. And so especially for Simpson, it's not as big of a deal because we have rolling admission throughout the year, but I know University of Iowa has deadlines. And so you want to make sure you have those applications done. That way you can do the FAFSA, you can list all your schools, and then you'll start getting those financial aid packages and you can start working through that process.
Thank you, Dawn. And thank you not only for you coming and being a part of this tonight, but bringing Maddie along too. So thank you. Trisha.
Yeah, so I think I already touched on a lot of things about taking advantage of opportunities through your undergraduate institution to kind of explore what you're passionate about. So I'm going to take a different approach this time and say that for parents, empower your students to take control of some of the communication with the schools they're looking at. We at the graduate level want to hear from them and not the parent. If they have a question, if they need something, are they coming? Aren't they coming? Really empower your student to participate in that communication so they can practice those skills. And also, we want to hear from them. And I think that that will just build upon their communication skills right at the start, and they can kind of take control of their journey in that way a little bit as well. So having them participate in that process and send the email themselves or do a little bit of digging, I think those are really great skills for them. And then for students, I would say definitely make sure you're taking part in that process as well. It's your future and it's exciting, and it's the first big decision you're probably going to make for yourself. And so really get into it and be as much of a part of it as you can.
Thank you, Tricia, and thank you also for participating in tonight's event. We appreciate it. Before I get to the students, because I wanted you to have you go last. Shelley Adams is still on, and I know Shelley has worked with colleges and that worked in colleges and has sent a few students through college as well. So Shelley, I wanted to get any last words of wisdom you could give from any perspective.
Well, having been in the financial aid field and for 20 years, and then on the student lending side of things, my biggest tip is don't wait until the last minute. I've met with families who have dropped their student off at the dorm and then come into the financial aid office and said, how do we pay for this? So that's just my tip. You know, everything is out on schools' websites. You know, plan ahead. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row, all of the checklists completed. Work with ICAN, work with your admissions rep, and work with the financial aid office at the school that you're going to, if that's your choice. There, you know, college isn't for everyone. There are other post-secondary options available, as have been mentioned, and just make sure you're on track. That's my best tip. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Shelley. I appreciate it. And that is good. And the nice thing for you senior high school families this year is the FAFSA starting on time this year is what we hear, October 1. In the last few years, which Maggie and Maddie both have went through with the delay in the process, we're just hoping for a smoother year this year and hope you all get to experience a smooth year that was not the case a couple of years ago for many of the students and families. Now coming back to our students, Maddie, I'll start with you. What is any last words of wisdom or anything you would like to share that maybe we've talked about or not talked about tonight that you would give students and families?
I think honestly, take risks, but not like dangerous risks. Like go to class, have fun, but kind of put yourself out there because you only have a senior year of high school one time. And when you get to college, it is still a lot of fun. I love college, but it definitely is more serious. You have more responsibilities. You're not at home with your parents anymore. So you can't really do a lot of the things that you may be wanting to do. Like I asked on Snapchat to be nominated for homecoming court just out of the blue, and it worked. And so I got to have that other experience of being nominated on homecoming court and being in the parade just because I asked. So join a new club, even if it's your senior year. Go out for the play. Try to join band if you haven't done it yet. Just taking those new opportunities, because once you get to college, at least at Simpson, you can still be a part of a lot of clubs and a lot of activities. But there's a difference when it's in high school and you're kind of doing it with the friends you've known all your life. So just take those risks, have fun, and try something new, even though it's your last year doing it.
Excellent advice. And thank you so much, Maddie, for taking the time to be with us tonight. Again, it's always great to get a student's perspectives and really hope you have a great junior year as well as senior year and finishing up as well. So thank you. Maggie, coming back to you, any last words of wisdom you'd give students and families?
Yeah, I think since you guys are in your senior year and it's going to be coming up before you know it, you're going to be probably thinking about, oh, a roommate, what do I do there? Guys, if you're looking for anything like lifestyle wise, like what's it like what would a day-to-day look like at the University of Iowa? Get on social media, go on YouTube and look up University of Iowa vlog, Iowa State vlog, University of Northern Iowa vlog. Get on the Facebook groups and join the Class of 2030 Facebook group and just put your picture out there. Say, hey, my name is this. I want to study this. I'm looking for someone with similar interests. There's you know, like Maddie said, there's Snapchat pages. Just get out there, and you're going to connect with people who are going to want to connect with you. And it's just a great way for you to kind of see what all there is to offer. I know when I was looking at schools, I put my face on multiple different Instagram accounts, trying to get to know people from all schools when I was making my decision. So get on social media for sure, because it's there and your guys are on there anyway. So might as well use it for your college benefit. And then since I kind of have the last little piece here before y'all wrap it up, I just want to wish good luck to everybody else who's finishing up their senior year. You've got it. I believe in you, you know, finish strong. You do want to get that diploma at the end of the day, so don't forget it. Do have fun, you know, cherish those memories of senior prom and all that good stuff. But remember to work hard, and you got it. And go Hawks!
Awesome. Well, thank you, Maggie. I appreciate you taking the time to be here as well. And hopefully your sophomore year, kind of junior year as well, and finishing up, go good onto your go good for you. So thank you again, everyone, for participating into this. And we're almost out of time, so I am going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Carrie to wrap up.
Yes, well, to all those that are currently or participants on the call here, thank you for joining us this evening. Hopefully you learned some good pieces of advice. To Maddie and Maggie and Chris and Don and Trisha, thank you again for being here and joining us. Shelly as well. And I know Danielle had to get off, but thank you for being here. Parents, students, if you have any questions, us at ICAN are always here to help. Call us, email us. All the people on this call, or colleges, financial aid, admissions, they are here for you as well. So don't hesitate, pick up those phones, email your admissions, financial aids, and ask those questions to any college as well. With that, have a great rest of your night, and we will see you all later.